the father.
Thank you. Now have a great day with your life and your baby. She's beautiful, by the way.
He's not the father. Do you know who her father is?
He's her father, like.
Not. She just said I'm not the father.
He is not her biological
He's the
father.
only person I was with.
Are not the father.
Is that a joke?
No. DNA does not lie and it does not joke. Mr. Brown is not your child's biological father.
Mr. Washington says that Ms. Steinhardt was a two-night stand that went too far, and now he is in court with his fiancée to prove that he isn't the father of her 3-month-old daughter. If that sounds chaotic, you are right, because this is how it began.
It is your testimony that you and Mr. Washington were in a relationship and planned to have this child together. You say you have no doubt that Mr. Washington is the father. Is that correct?
Yes, Shauna.
So, Mr. Washington, why do you think Ms. Steinhardt is trying to pin a child on you?
Okay, it looks like there is a lot of bad blood here. Miss Culmer, Mr. Washington's fiancée, believes that Ms. Steinhardt just wants to destroy a seemingly happy home. She isn't ready to let that happen and continues to argue that this baby is the result of a two-night stand, whatever that means. Here is what Ms. Steinhardt thinks of that.
Nobody wants a family. I just want him to step up to the plate and take care of his daughter as we plan to.
So, Mr. Washington, tell me how this relationship started.
Well, me and my fiance got into a little disagreement, and then I was staying at a friend's house, and I met Teresa over there.
All right.
Now that does not sound like what you would do to a two-night stand. I mean, it is already longer than 2 nights, and they'd not even gotten to sleeping with one another part yet. But hold on, because it gets worse.
Tell me the whole story. You was chilling in the basement. Don't try to make yourself feel relevant, because you're not.
Okay. And so, Ms. Steinhardt, how did you find out Mr. Washington had a girlfriend?
Basically, we was walking to the store and she was yelling from the other side of the block, like, "Oh, I see you."
Wow, Mr. Washington isn't coming out of this looking good at all. The only thing worse than cheating on your partner is getting caught cheating on your partner. I mean, not only are you a horrible person, you are also a dumb, horrible person. That is not a great look, but hold because this case has more twists than you can imagine.
In your mind, I want to understand this. You had been with him, consistently
We was
been
in
to
a
his...
whole 8-month relationship.
We was never in a relationship, y'all.
So you were in a relationship
No.
in your mind.
Pictures that says
never
that we
in a
were in a
relationship.
Let me see
relationship.
and another picture that looks like you all booed up.
Yeah, Mr. Washington isn't really a great cheater. I mean, how are you going to be cheating on your partner and then take so many pictures with your side chick looking all booed up? He did not even try to hide his face. Let us hear from the dog himself. What does he think?
I never started another relationship with anybody.
So a sexual relationship, at least you did.
Yeah.
So you were having sex with Miss Steinhardt, and you were also still in the relationship with your girlfriend.
Yes, Shauna.
All right, Miss Steinhardt.
Well, there you have it, folks. Mr. Washington was not double dating. No, he would never do something so unprincipled and out of character. Instead, he was merely cheating on her. And that is something we can all understand, right? Let us hear from Ms. Steinhardt.
Me and he was like, "I think you need to take a pregnancy test because I
never
think you're
called you.
pregnant." Yes, you
I
did.
never called you. You try to contact us all the time. I never called you.
You didn't call me?
No, I blocked your
You called
number.
me
You
from
kept
a
calling me.
text-free number. Let's
never
be
called
real
you.
because
I
your
never
phone
called
was
you.
off.
I never called you.
He asked me
Yeah, this was clearly not a 2-day stand or whatever Mr. Washington has been telling his fiancée. However, the important truth here is that Mr. Washington and Mr. Steinhardt had a relationship and he could be the child's father. Here is what Mr. Washington thinks.
2 or 3.
So 2 or 3
8
months.
months.
Were you using
Wasn't in a
protection?
Yes, 2 times.
2 times you used protection,
Yes.
and the rest of the times you didn't.
It wasn't no other time after that. Because when I found out she was pregnant, I never seen her after that.
Yes,
I
you
stopped talking to
did.
her.
I
So
gave you
hold
a
on,
job.
hold on.
Mr. Washington insists that he is telling the truth. He never told anyone that. Can we just believe him? But given the fact that his arguments here do not seem to be adding up, what are the chances he is saying the truth? Well, let's learn more.
Steinhardt, were there other men you were seeing during that time?
No, I was 100% loyal to him because he has me thinking that we was in a
If
relationship.
you loyal
No,
to
it's never
somebody,
a
you don't let
relationship.
another man carry another man's baby, point blank, period. Like you
Another
did.
man.
Ms. Steinhardt insists that no one else could be the father of the baby. That is great, but we know too well how women lie on paternity court and then get hit with the truth in the end. But Ms. Culmer isn't giving up just yet.
Another man do that to another man's child.
Do you know who this man is?
Yes, that's we're not blood related, but he's like family to me and my family.
And if you go
his
down
nephew.
her, if you go down her timeline on Facebook, you see her sitting in his lap. Do family members do that?
At this point, you kind of get the vibe that Mr. Washington is just trying to escape his responsibilities. But sometimes the truth can be stranger than fiction. Let's see what the DNA test result has to tell us about this case.
And your baby, she's beautiful, by the way.
He's not the father. Do you know who her father is?
He's her father.
I'm not. She just said I'm not the father.
He is not her biological
He's the
father.
only person
I'm
I
not
was
the
with.
father.
I don't know the circumstances surrounding her conception, but what I do know from this DNA report is that
Ms. Hawthorne says that her high school sweetheart is a smooth-talking deadbeat. He got her pregnant 3 years ago, and now insists that he cannot be her baby's father. Mr. Brown says that is the biggest lie he has ever heard in his life. Let us see how this case begins.
Hawthorne, why do you say Mr. Brown is a deadbeat?
He doesn't do anything for Chase. He doesn't come see him, anything.
And that makes you so angry
Yes.
because you feel like
Because-
he's not honoring his responsibility.
Right. And plus, I grew up without a father. So I don't want my kid.
Okay, first of all, this man does not talk all that smoothly. Secondly, the fact that he was her high school sweetheart probably lends some credence to the claim that she is just emotionally attached to him. But Ms. Hawthorne does not see things that way at all.
This was your high school sweetheart,
Yes, I lost my virginity to him.
and you say everything was going fine.
Yes.
Until
Until he
what?
started cheating. Started cheating on me.
You started cheating, Mr. Brown?
Well, Your Honor, we was living in 2 different parts of the city. So she was living in the suburbs.
Oh, everything is starting to make sense now. They were dating online for a long time before they actually started seeing each other. But people who date online in high school generally don't end up on paternity court, right? Because they usually don't meet often enough to get a baby. Here is how Mr. Brown puts it.
We only had sex one time, and that was in 2014 in August.
Nah.
That only one time. We wasn't going back and forth. I wanted to continue to
Okay,
move on.
so listen, Chase is 2 years old. So clearly it did go on and on past one sexual encounter because you wouldn't be a potential.
Well, what can I say? It happens. People start arguing, the tension gets crazy, and then they start kissing. Go into the back seat, and 3 years later, they are on paternity court. All I'm saying is that it happens. What are you going to do? So what is Mr. Brown's doubt?
Is this the day you feel like you conceived Chase?
Yes.
Your Honor, I pleased her and I didn't finish, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that's a complete
Oh,
lie.
you're saying you
A
didn't
complete
finish
lie.
the act.
Actually, I
Wow, he is a smooth talker, all right. That is the sort of thing you'd expect a smooth talker to pull, and he did it. So Mr. Brown's claim is that he was too exhausted from all the laying around he did with his girlfriend that he could not finish for Ms. Hawthorne. It is a crude explanation, but guess what? It works, and he has one more reason to doubt.
Boyfriend at the time.
Okay.
I did not. Me and this guy, we were roommates. We decided in
Your Honor.
June of 2015 to move in together.
Is this a guy you've been intimate with ever?
No, never at all. He was just a friend.
So you're gonna move in with someone and not have sex with them.
Yes.
Mr. Brown cannot believe that Ms. Hawthorne would be in another man's house and nothing would happen. He probably cannot believe it because it does not sound like something he would do. Can you believe it? Smooth-talking Mr. Brown here not making a move on an attractive female under the same roof? Nope, can't imagine it. Let's see what happens next.
Do you notify Mr. Brown?
No. We were not on like good speaking terms at the moment.
But this is the father of your child.
Yes.
So speaking terms or not, didn't he deserve to know that the child was about to come into the world?
I notified DeAndre September 24th, so a day right after.
Judge Lake has a point. That does not make any kind of sense. If the baby was indeed Mr. Brown's, and Ms. Hawthorne knew that for a fact, she would have let him know. If she was going to let him know eventually, why not let him know straight off the bat? Now let us talk about these deadbeat accusations.
And you say Mr. Brown hasn't been a part of his life at all.
Not at all. He's only seen him 4 times.
Your Honor, I feel trapped in the situation.
How?
I feel trapped.
How do you feel trapped?
Because first off, you didn't let me know that you was pregnant until 14 weeks later.
Okay, so you trapped yourself in the back.
And that is it, really. If you don't want to show up on paternity court answering difficult questions, you should not mess around women without protection. That is the only way. But doing that seems seems so difficult to Mr. Brown and many others like him. Now he is saying he isn't a deadbeat.
Your Honor, I wouldn't say that I haven't done anything.
What have
for
you
this
done?
baby. I've actually sent her money each month,
How much money?
Lie.
however much money that she
Lie.
asks.
You
Lie
say you
again.
send her money every month?
Yes.
Lie again.
Okay, so Miss Hawthorne, did he give you money every month?
Well, Mrs. Hawthorne, a kid can be pretty and still not belong to who his mother says he belongs to. The only way to understand for sure is to check out what the DNA test results say. And here is what that result says.
Are not the father.
Is that a joke?
No.
Oh, boy.
The DNA does not lie and it does not joke. Mr. Brown is not your child's biological father.
But I didn't have sex with nobody else. He the only person I had sex with.
Well, in this courtroom, that really means nothing. It's about the DNA. I mean, we often say, I'm the judge, but the DNA is the jury. The DNA is gonna come with the verdict. It's gonna be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Ms. Point says she made the biggest mistake ever when she said that her daughter's father, Mr. Rowan, wasn't her father. She says that was a lie said in spite, and now wants to repair the broken relationship by getting a paternity test. Here is what Mr. Rowan thinks of that.
Mr. Rowan, you claim you initially believed you were Sherelle's father, but your doubt was substantiated by the plaintiff's words. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Sherelle Points, you claim your life has suffered significantly due to the lies your mother told you growing up. You want to rewrite your history and claim getting these results.
Yeah, that is what paternity doubt can do. This woman is 29 years old, and now she learns that her father may not actually be her father. That is the sort of lie that makes people go no contact. So why did Ms. Point say that anyway?
I did say that, just those words, just to get back at
And you
Mr.
have
Marcellus.
regretted that now.
Yes, I do.
For years.
Yes, I have.
Because as we tell so many young women in this courtroom, once you ring that bell, you cannot unring it.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor. You're right.
All right, so Mr. Rowan,
Yes, Your Honor.
you're convinced you're not Sherelle Point's biological father.
Now, that is true. They don't all have to take after the dad, so that alone cannot be a strong enough reason for a paternity doubt. But before we get into that, Mr. Rowan and Ms. Points look like they are from two different lives. How does that even work? How did they meet?
We was in high school together. We started going together, and we had like a little ritual. You know, every day I get out of school, I would go home, and my mom, she'd be at work, and here come Miss Points. Every day she'd come over, and Marcellus knock on the door, and I look out the window, and she, I'm like, all right.
Oh, so they have different kids together, and Ms. Cheryl is just the third one. Interestingly, this man has zero paternity doubts on the first two kids. This tells us that his doubt about Cheryl did not just come on a whim. He is not trying to get out of any responsibilities here. Let us talk about the birth certificate.
Birth certificates and me don't get along. She's saying I did, but
Yeah, you did.
nah, you know, I don't do birth certificates because that's like incriminating myself. You know, I'm not like, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of child support. If a kid's mine, you know, I'll step up to the plate and do what I got to do, but I just don't like being required to do everything, have this much money every month.
Well, that's a lesson for us all, Mr. Rowan, on child support. No, but I'm gonna be honest with you, you're not the only man that feels that way.
Wait, so he did not actually sign the birth certificate? Ms. Point seemed so certain just now that he did sign it. And now we are learning that that's just a huge fat lie? And there is another man? This is going a lot worse than she imagined. Let's learn more.
Then I'm like, she's going on my income taxes, I know that. So that wasn't no problem, you did. So, you know.
So in other words, that's my child.
Yeah.
Don't try to tell me now this is not my child, it's my child.
Yeah, especially around income tax time.
See, all because of that.
Nah.
All because of money.
Wow, Mr. Rowan seems to be the realest man to have ever come on paternity court. There is no waffling with him. He just says the truth as he sees it and does not care what anyone else says. That is not common in this court. Now let's get to Ms. Points. Why did she even say this in the first place?
He was fussing frustrated about a whole lot of things that was going on with him, doing what he was doing out here, so, you know.
And so you just decided, I'm gonna say these words to hurt him.
Yes, I knew that's the most important thing to him, and I knew it was gonna get to him.
Never understanding how you would hurt your daughter.
You're right, I never was understanding it. But I know right today, I know it's hurting her.
All of that over just hair? Really? That is crazy, especially as black kids come with different types of hairs and different textures. Whether a kid's hair is nappy or not is simply not a good enough sign that they belong to someone else. So what happened next?
16, our family was just like, I wanted to know. And we were sitting on my granny's porch, and she just looked at me and she was like, I look like that other guy. And then I looked at her and was like, huh? And she was like, yeah. But she never said nothing else when I asked her.
So she just blurted it out.
Yes.
You look like that other guy.
Or when she get mad at me, she'll tell me I look like that other guy.
Those are a lot of wrong things to say, Ms. Point. Imagine telling a kid that they don't really have a father when you get mad at them. If they don't have a father, how is that their fault? But this means there was another guy, right? Let's hear more about that.
We didn't really have a relationship. We went out a couple times and stuff,
During the time when you were with Mr. Rowan.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so clearly you were intimate with this man as well.
Yes, Your Honor. But I was more intimate with Mr. Marcellus Rowan than the other guy.
Right, but we know that it just takes once.
I know, you're right.
This is insane. So Mr. Rowan isn't on the birth certificate, and Ms. Points often got angry and told Chanel that she didn't belong to Mr. Rowan, and now that other man's name is also on the birth certificate. Well, let's see what the DNA test results think.
29-year-old Sherelle Points. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Rowan, you are not the father.
No.
You are not the father. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Ms. McDuffie, a preacher's daughter, is completely sure that her ex-boyfriend is the father of her 2-year-old kid, Samia. Mr. Edwards, the ex-boyfriend in question, says he has real reasons to doubt this version of events and believes that the baby does not belong to him. Let us see what this preacher's daughter has to say.
McDuffie, why are today's results so important to you? Explain.
Your Honor, these results are important because I know Mr. Sammy Edwards is the father. He's a pop in and pop out dad. One minute he's claiming her, the next minute she's not his daughter. And at this point, I just want my daughter to be taken care of and get the same love and support that I had growing up as a child as well. And I just feel like it's unfair for us to have to be here today.
You know what? We like a honest king. Mr. Edwards knows he has been behaving like a deadbeat. He knows he has been absent from this kid's life. But his argument is that he has a very good reason to be. And here is how that plays out.
I feel about the situation, she said I'm gonna pop in and pop out dad or whatever, just simply because she's a gorgeous little girl, I don't want to get too attached to her or get my family too attached to her because, I just don't know if she's mine or not.
But you come see her all the time. Like, you're constantly there.
That is such a good excuse. Can you believe it? He says that the reason he is a deadbeat is because the little girl is so gorgeous and he doesn't want to get too attached to her. What a fantastic excuse, right? So how did these two even meet?
I saw her she was a waitress behind the bar, you know what I'm saying? I really ain't, paid too much attention to her till she really, walked across the bar, I saw them buns. I had to proceed, so.
He had to proceed.
Yeah. I called her, I came and picked up, and we got the
Yeah, you proceeded to those buns, and now you are on paternity court trying to see if you have a kid or not. That is how it works when you proceed to those buns without protection. That is just what happens. And the fact that Ms. McDuffie adds the fact that she doesn't drink like that makes it any better. So you make horrible decisions and cannot even blame it on alcohol? Good for you, I guess. Now, what's next?
On a date, be in a relationship? Does this sexual relationship continue?
I'm sorry. 2 weeks, like a week prior to, us having sex in the car, like the second date. It was, she called me and said she was pregnant.
A week? 2 weeks?
It was a week.
No, it was not.
It was like a week. She, I really didn't believe her. So
48 pregnancy tests? She really did not want that baby. She was checking and checking and rechecking. She did not want to have a baby at all. So what happened after that?
Okay,
Yes,
so
yes.
you say her ex and his whole family?
Ex and his whole
What
family
happened?
hit me up on social media. I'm talking about harassing the hell out of me, talking about this is not your child. You're stupid. Why are you taking care of this child? Or why you got her? Oh, not child, but why you got
How
her?
pregnant was Miss
He's lying.
McDuffie
Still like
at the
6 or 7
time?
months.
Now that is a recipe for a paternity doubt. When you think someone might have a kid for you, and then you find out that her ex and his whole family think that kid belongs to the ex, even the best father starts getting some doubt. And that is what happened here. So what did Ms. McDuffie say about that?
What she said was, he can't have kids because we went to the sperm doctor and they said his sperm is this and that. But she just recently said she keep in contact with this guy and now he has a daughter. So I'm like,
Oh, I can see why Mr. Edwards is in court now. He has very valid reasons to doubt that this baby belongs to him. If the ex cannot have kids, how come he has a daughter? And the fact that she got pregnant so soon after meeting him is insane. Here is what Ms. McDuffie has to say.
Mr. Edwards is not telling you is the guy called my phone. He did not want to let me go. He was upset at the fact that he felt like I left him for Sammy or I stopped. And granted, to be honest with you, I did. But we weren't dating. It's just I didn't want to go further with our friendship because I knew he was catching feelings.
Interesting. Her argument now is that she was sleeping with him and he was obsessed with her, and that is why he tried harassing Mr. Edwards online. That doesn't sound likely, but it is at least a better story, right? Let's see what Mr. Edwards has to say.
this man have dates of what the last time they had sex.
What dates he gave you, Sammy?
I don't remember. Of course,
Of
so
course you
long
don't
ago, I
remember, 'cause you
remember the
telling a
dates.
lie.
But this man he added up the dates and he was like, bro, we had sex this specific time, so I'm letting you know this is my child.
Wow, those are a lot of accusations. Ms. McDuffie does not have a single doubt in her heart that this baby belongs to Mr. Edwards. But DNA tests don't care about conviction. They only care about the truth. And here is the truth this DNA test has for us.
2-year-old Samaya McDuffie. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Edward, you are the father.
You knew that
That's
though.
real.
I'm not even going
I
there with
honestly didn't know.
you knew that.
I honestly
Can't
didn't
believe
know.
You are the father.
Ms. Smith says she has waited her entire adult life for the truth, and now she has the opportunity to do that in court today. Mr. Lewis, on the other hand, thinks Ms. Smith's father is his great uncle. How does that even happen? Let's find out.
You claim that years of doubt have caused you to question paternity, and unfortunately, you don't believe that Brittany is your daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Smith, why is today so important?
Today is important to me so I can get closure because it's always going back and forth on why he's not my father.
That is so sad. There are few things as painful as realizing that someone in your life just wants to use you, and when they are done using you, they stop caring about you. That is what Ms. Smith thinks Mr. Lewis has been doing. What does Mr. Lewis think?
First of all, her mom, me and her, we got to dating. Wasn't no relationship going on. It was just a hit and quit thing. It was just a hit and quit thing, that's all it was.
But there's a whole bunch of people here in this world from a hit it and quick, because you can
True.
make a baby right quick.
Right quick, that's true.
So, what
I
does
agree
that
with you.
explain?
Wow. Well, the bad thing here, Mr. Lewis, is that you can't just say she is not your daughter and leave it at that. That is not how paternity cases work. There has to be some more information, and thankfully, he eventually gives the truth up.
We was together. We went up there to see what was going on. When we went up there, I remember good as day, when we went up there, there was a conflict going on between Liz and her mother, okay? So, at that time, Brittany wasn't she's about 3 days old, 3 or 4 days old.
Okay.
So, I asked Liz, let's talk, you know what I'm saying, what's going on? They ain't had nowhere to go. I took Brittany.
That is such a stand-up thing to do. He took the baby home despite not believing he was the father because he did not want her to get into the system. That is so commendable, right? Let us hear what Ms. Smith thinks about that.
My mother always told me that he was my father. She had no denial of him not being a father. She hasn't messed with nobody else. And I just feel like...
So how long was this? How long did you have Brittany, Mr. Lewis? How long was she in your custody?
I had Brittany, like I say, she was 3, 4 days old until Brittany got about 10, 11, off and on because her mother would come get her.
Okay, so why is he now so shocked that she believes he is her father? If he cared so much about not being her father, he would have told her he was her uncle or something, right? That can mess up a kid so much. And yes, it messed up Ms. Smith.
What kind of memories do you have with Mr. Lewis?
Him trying to be a fake father to me my whole life.
Why do you say a fake father? Explain. I see the
Because one
pain.
minute he was there, and the next minute he wasn't, like he was a ghost. I just don't understand how you can take somebody and treat them like they're your daughter sometimes, and then the rest of the time they're not.
That is so interesting. If Mr. Lewis really believed he wasn't her father, why would he not let her pay for a test? Perhaps he is running away from the truth? Because if he was her father, then he would have to confront the fact that he's treated his own flesh and blood so badly over the years. Anyway, this case has got one last twist ready for you.
I never avoided no test. If that was the case, I would have took the test. You know who her father is? Look at her and you tell me.
This is a photo of a man?
Yes. That's the man. Yeah, tell me about it, Your Honor. Yeah, tell
You
me.
believe this is her biological father?
That is her father. You know why I say that?
Hold up, wait a minute. Just not his uncle or his great-uncle? His great-great-uncle? His grandparents' siblings? What? This must be some kind of joke. You simply don't pull up to discover your grandparents' siblings sleeping with someone you used to sleep with. But Mr. Lewis insists that is exactly what happened here.
I pulled up in the yard, family house. The door was cracked, it was open. I walk in. The bed is sitting right there, right in front of the door. It's a small apartment. Smacking. They getting it. They getting it. Next thing I know, he hear the door open. He turn around and look and see me. She raised her head up. All I did was look and shook my head and walked out.
Wow, that is cold. It seems extremely implausible as the man isn't here to take the test. But stranger things have actually happened in paternity court, and this may join a long string of crazy things that we have witnessed. Does it get worse? Let's see.
Said sometimes you were there, sometimes you were ghost.
Yeah, that's true.
Why is that? Was
Yeah.
it because of the doubt?
It was because of the doubt, and plus I was in and out of town. I stayed in Cleveland. I got family in Georgia, moved down here to Georgia, you know. So yes, I was gone, but she was getting things from her mother.
That is true. We will soon find out. This is such a crazy case because we basically do not know if Mr. Lewis is saying the truth about this great-uncle business or not. But anyway, here is the verdict of the DNA test results.
Mr. Lewis, you are not the father.
Oh, bam. God. Ta-da. That's her father right there. That's him right there.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Are you all right? You truly thought this was your biological father?
And you know what, Your Honor?
Ms. Browning and her grandmother believe that the defendant, Mr. Browning, is her biological father. However, Mr. Browning disagrees. He insists that he might be her legal father because he married her mother at the time of conception, but she is not related to him. Here is how that case starts out.
Prove that Charles is my biological father.
And you're here with your grandmother?
Yes, ma'am.
Which happens to be Mr. Browning's mother.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Browning, you're here to support Tiffany, Ms. Browning.
Yes, I'm here to support.
Because you believe your son is her biological father.
I know my son is her biological father.
Hold on, wait a minute. Ms. Browning's mom isn't here when she should be, and Mr. Browning's own mother isn't on his side. This is all so confusing, and it is impossible to see what way this case goes. Now, Mr. Browning says it does not matter that he isn't her biological father since he did everything a biological father should do.
Your Honor, what does it matter, Your Honor? What does it matter? I raised her. I took her to school. I went to the ball games with her. I went to her graduation. What does it matter, Your Honor?
Now, that is cold. Mr. Browning was married but separated from Ms. Browning's mother when she was conceived. He argues that that is how he knows that Ms. Browning is not his daughter. Let us see what his mother thinks of that.
I see you looking at your son like, what in the world you talking about?
I know he is the father of Tiffany because he and Rose live in my house. And I saw them having sex.
That is not true.
Okay, now we have something we don't usually have on paternity court, an eyewitness account of the insemination act itself. The way Grandma is going on about it, it kind of looks like the image of them sleeping together is engraved in her mind. And who can blame her? Anyway, Mr. Browning seriously disagrees with this.
Mother said that I never touched her, I was nowhere near her. She said there was another man. She said he was a drifter.
So she admitted in a previous court proceeding, you were not the biological father and that this other man she met during the separation was.
But I was there. I was there in court. I never heard Rose say that.
That is very strong material evidence for Mr. Browning's position. If his name isn't on the birth certificate and her mother never asked for child support, that would mean she knows that he isn't the father and consequently never bothered him. How did Ms. Browning even learn about all of this?
In a family argument, they were arguing, and I heard that he may not be a possibility. I heard I was a one-night stand. I was upset after that. It wasn't, they said I was supposed to learn when I got of age.
But you were 12.
Yes.
Wait, her grandma, who is now on her side, said that it could have been someone else? Okay, someone here is lying, and it is near impossible to find out who is saying the truth. Let's see if we can unravel this mystery with Ms. Browning's sister, Alexis.
Your Honor, I remember calling being about 8 years old, and my mom came to me and told me that my mom and my dad were getting a divorce, and they were gonna separate. Maybe shortly after that, a few months later, my mom introduced me to a gentleman that she was dating.
Possibility. I'm really hurt by that.
Look, I think Alexis is confused. Rose never told me that.
Wow. Grandma is really going at everybody today. Mr. Browning and Alexis seem to be on the same side, and you can see that what they are saying just seems so difficult for Ms. Browning to accept. But Grandma isn't going down without a fight.
Someone else had to tell Alexis that. She never mentioned that.
No, Ma.
She
no.
tells me everything.
Grandma,
I
no.
talk to Rose daily.
No.
I talk to Rose more than I do my own son, more than I do Alexis.
Your Honor.
I talk to Rose sometimes 3 times a day.
Your Honor, I'd like to take a minute to look at the picture right there.
Yes?
I feel like we favoring that picture right there.
You and Mr. Browning.
Yes.
But a picture isn't a DNA test, and if that is all the evidence that Ms. Browning is Mr. Browning's child, then her case is looking really weak. However, she has some medical evidence that she argues proves her case. Let's take a look.
You have asthma.
Yes.
And Mr. Browning, the man you believe is your father, has asthma as well.
He had asthma.
You say you have type 1 diabetes.
Yes, he has diabetes.
Is that true, Mr. Browning?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, you say you have a shellfish allergy.
Yes.
Does Mr. Browning have a shellfish? Yes, he does.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe, maybe not. You cannot really tell with these things. What is absolutely certain, though, is a DNA test, and the DNA test results will put this case to rest once and for all. Here is what that result says.
Mr. Browning, you are not the father.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Nothing's changed, Tiffany.
You're gonna be okay.
Have a seat, honey. Just take a seat. It's gonna be all right.
He loves you. 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 He loves you.